How's it over there? What's up? I hope you're good. I'm forever peaceful. Y'all know, guys, so I live in South Africa, and it's a challenging feat to do such a thing as that. And I shall explain to you why it's such a challenging feat to live in South Africa. It's because almost everybody that you meet is a witch. Yeah, proper. In the office where you work, witch. In the gym where you exercise, witch. At the restaurant where you eat, witch. At the cycling park where you exercise with the bicycle, witch. At the school playground, witch. At the mall where you shop, witch. Proper, wherever under heaven it is that you meet new human beings in this nation, you can guarantee that you're going to be gathering for yourself potentially a witch. That is South Africa. It's really very unfortunate. However, I just look at this and I get excited. I know. You're probably thinking, Karabo, come on, girl. What's so exciting about being bewitched like 24 hours a day by the witch? Everywhere, at the cycling parlor, at the mall, at the school, at the workplace, at the gym. It is because if you're a Christian, you realize on that day that you live in Sodom. I know. When you're living in Sodom, you should probably not be too happy, because who lives in an environment where everybody wants to have sex with you of like the same sex? You don't want that, because you're trying to honor God. But you see, the thing about Sodom is like it's a ticking time bomb. Indeed. Yeah, of like an inferno. Indeed. Rocking up to like ransack and burn the place down. Indeed. So if your lot, even though it might be really very excruciating to live among a perverse generation, it's only a matter of time before God sends for you. It's only a matter of time before the Lord rocks up and extracts you out of an ecosystem. Because frankly, it's disturbing to his eyes to gaze upon. South Africa is the witchy tantamount, of Sodom. It's the witchy tantamount of Sodom. And I will explain why I say that. Because literally there is no corner you can turn where you don't find a witch. Online, you meet somebody, you chat with them for 5 seconds and they've put a spell on you. In everywhere you go, like, because you cannot turn a corner without being bewitched like no one's business. The Lord then does nothing but round up his Christians so as to extract them out of that environment. But you see, it's not just South Africa where this is a thing. It is not just South Africa where this is a thing, but it's the world at large. South Africa, however, its tantamount of sexual perversity is witchcraft. Now let us go on right ahead to look at the planet at large. America has got a real big problem with the woke agenda, and it's pushing everything licentious down the throats of even children. That's the United States of America. So the USA is Sodom in a very literal sense, in that they've got a sexual perversion as a problem. And then let's go on right ahead and look at, for instance, many of the South American countries. Witchcraft. Like no man's business. That's their sexual perversion tantamount. Africa, witchcraft. Europe, woke, just like America. China, atheism. In other words, hatred for all things religion, including the Word of God, Christianity. There is literally no country in the world where there is not some ubiquitous, one particular or two particular, or clumped up in one particular category of sin. There is not a single nation on earth right now that does not have an insufferable constitution about itself for Christians. Right? So if at all we're dealing with an ecosystem, a circumstance, that's what's good, where Christians can no longer live. What God tends to do for the body of believers in that nation is take them to another nation, that they might be indeed able to fulfill the scriptures where it is written, that if it is possible, live at peace with everybody, right? Where you go in the lands that you inhabit, bless everybody there, and if they bless you, I will bless them. But if it is literally impossible for anybody at all to live in a country that wants to serve God, if they can't have a peaceable life, if every time they go out their front door they get arrested, if every time they try to have a conversation with a person they get hit, if every time they try to be a gospel servant they find themselves getting afflicted in some way, understand that God is going to take that person or those people, that like his saints, he's not going to linger them in all that persecution. He's not just going to sit it out. It's not what God does. He will move them. But if there is nowhere to move all the Christians on the earth, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the tribulation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Flight 777, otherwise known as the Rapture airplane. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to heaven, because kuzoshuba now. It's about to get real. We are going home. In South Africa, it's the witch. So now that I have briefly touched on my own particular, not my own, sorry, but on more or less what's going on across the world, I will go on right ahead to speak, in sealing this thing about South Africa. I've got a lot of content that I need to publish, that I need to share. And frankly, the sooner I get the edits done, the better. So I need to stop trying to fill up the air with these kinds of videos and just upload my big, chunky form content. Because among the work that I have recently done that I'm editing, that I'm not yet quite finished with, is a whole 17-part series where I explain why we're at the end. And also why a 48-part series where I also explain how we got here. Right? And frankly, all the work that I'm doing is in preparation for the tribulation church. I am pretty sure that I am not working for the future. Here, the earth, it's done. Like, it's finished. This is it. We're done. I have, however, been I keep getting confirmed too that we're going home. There's no fixing this. There's no eradicating this. It's just over. Like, it's over. Okay, but I have to do this just to fill the air and just to communicate to the witches that have recently come up against me that latela, letletseka nyoko, okay? And lo salamurajo. You are wolves in sheep's clothing. You are better off calling yourself an atheist, maybe even a Mormon, a Jehovah's Witness, a Muslim if you insist on being theistic. You better call yourself a Hindu or something. Some other religion that don't save, but do not call yourself a Christian, because you are going to have a much hotter eternal existence than even the Mormon, even the Jehovah's Witness, even the Muslim, etc. People that don't believe in Christ as the only way, that are frankly just heretical, walking around in some false religion. They're better off. They're better off than the lukewarm conglomerate. Do you understand? That stealthily, perniciously worm themselves into the lives of Christian people and just rip apart something. Like, we are going through a lot as the body of Christ. And we have each other, but not really. Because, like I said, I'm in South Africa. And every second or third or fifth person is a witch. So, kokereng, they're everywhere. At the mall, they're everywhere. At work, they're everywhere. On the school playground, they're everywhere. And unfortunately, they also come in young ages. So you could find them in teenagers that you are trying to help out because, it's a struggling teen. They are everywhere. Everybody's dabbling in this country because of the current state of the nation, and they just want to get their own in real fast, like real quick. And once they start with dabbling with witchcraft, they can't stop because they've been made addicted. And because we live in a country where witchcraft is flying rampant and there's a principality, like literally they're a goner. They are a complete goner once they start. I really like this saying within the Christian community: normal is not coming back, Jesus is. Okay, thank you very much. Right. That's an actual fact. Normal is not returning. The Lord Jesus Christ is. But not before first taking the church and literally spitting bullets of fire on the earth. It's that basic. He is about to knock people out like dominoes. And among the first that are likely going to be taken out are those that took his grace for granted. People who hung around inside churches, squeezing themselves inside pews, hoping that is going to absolve them from their cheating. Thank you very much. Many of these people that practice witchcraft that are sitting inside the church, a lot of them are not even infiltrators from covens. In other words, they're not active devil worshippers working for covens, and they have got an intentional or a deliberate mission or a prerogative against churches. They are professing Christians that are cheaters. They, think about indeed within the school system, where it is that you got to write exams. These people would be ones that have that get the memo in advance and memorize the answers and then rock up and write the exam. They're cheaters. They're ones who copy from other students on the left and on the right of them. They feel as if they have got this whole mindset. Yeah, that's why such things are so dangerous to say. God helps those who help themselves. So they feel as if though they gotta nudge themselves along. They have to nudge themselves along in order to get anything at all done out here in these streets. So because they feel like God is just a snail that's taking forever to do what they ask him to do, they then help God along. They nudge him along. They help themselves because apparently God helps those who help themselves. They improve their odds at just about everything using witchcraft. They get jobs that way. They afflict men, you know, if they're women, and women if they're men, with like love curses in order for them to improve their chances of getting proposed to. They mess with their girls' lives so they don't have to envy them, etc. I could go on, right? But they go to church on Sundays. They're always in the scriptures. They're always checking out content on YouTube or wherever that is Christian in order to convince themselves that they are believers. Indeed, these are human beings that are running with that false heretical doctrine that says that all you gotta do is just, you know, say the sinner's prayer or whatever, and you're cool, you're forgiven. Except faith is evidenced by works. When you are born again, it becomes clear. You have a transformation of character, personality. You become a new creation. So if you're not a new creation, if you're not bearing fruit, you're not a Christian. All right? And these people are bearing the fruit of the sinful nature, which is witchcraft. I have expanded on this at length, so I will not rap on laboriously. I'm only going to have one part here. I keep saying that, but I'm definitely going to have one part. I have a lot of work to do, so I really have to get that out. I just want to put it out there, however, that God is about to extract Christians out of a global Sodom. Like, countries have got their own thing that they're doing. You know, Africa prides itself in not proliferating the colorful alphabet agenda as much, and that they're still wholesome or whatever, but it's all rubbish. Well, South Africa doesn't count because it's just as woke as the US, but many parts of Africa pride themselves in holding fast to anti-colorful agenda laws. But despite that being a thing, they are witches. South Africa, not South Africa only, but Africa, its sodomic constitution is witchcraft. So where it is that they do well, they neutralize that by falling short in this particular regard. It's everywhere. Members of parliament, presidents, they are involved in so much sorcery that they neutralize any other good thing that remains about Africa. Any other virtue that Africa has, they knock it out of the woods using witchcraft. So I am like proper, like my whole ministry, I just wanted to be this sweet, coy Christian woman sharing her godly life before people that they might be edified and born again or whatever. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I was thoroughly gunning for. Do you understand? And then I became all focused on witchcraft. For crying out loud, that was never ever meant to be my niche. I was never trying to like rap on so much, because people who focus a lot on witchcraft tend to also be deliverance ministers, and that's not what I'm called to do. It's casting out random spirits out of people. It's not my calling. My calling is to rather speak of what under heaven it is that I see, for God has given me a gift, and to also, I guess, share my life as a living epistle before men, before people, that they might be like, oh, this is what a godly life looks like, hallelujah, rah rah, let's celebrate it. But I got thrust into a ministry very focused particularly on witchcraft, because I live in freaking witchcraft central. I live in a country where every second person, every third person, every fourth person that you meet out here in these streets literally just throws a spell at you. And the thing about me is that I have a gift, a spiritual gifting. The Lord has seen it fit to really just alert me, make me aware of the incredible haughtiness of sorcery being practiced out here in these streets, left and right. So I dream about everybody. I dream about everyone. As soon as a witch casts a spell, I dream it. So just the plethora of human beings that are involved in sorcery is then on that day very alarming to me. It is shocking to have some dude rock up here. He is a gardener for my mom, and I have a conversation with him for like 5 seconds, and I bring him oros, and next thing he has put a love spell on me. And I'm like, seriously, the gardener? The gardener. Like, there is a carpenter, Wamochai, that has put a love spell on me because he has seen that I am persecuted, I'm abused. My family treats me like rubbish, and so he's like, I'll take her. Like, he probably, like a carpenter or my mom has put a love spell on me. It's like, whoa. That is just how bizarre things are here, Mochaye. It's not just the carpenter that has done this, but also some electrician that, upon coming over again and again, Mojarateng, to do electrical work, noticed that I'm really very severely treated by my family and was like, I'll take her. Whoa. Guys, it's everywhere. So now for me, it's like, Gabalor, I dream about witches as soon as they have cast a spell. And no, it literally does not matter if they could put a cloaking spell on there. A lot of people who meet me online, for instance, they meet me precisely because they found my content. And so know that I'm a dreamer, that I'm a seer. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they think they're clever. Type setup thing. So what they do is hook up cloaking spells. Most people don't do cloaking spells because most people don't expect that you're going to dream about their filthy buttocks bouncing up and down in these streets, bewitching the neighborhood. Most people think that you're not going to know what's hit you. It's just going to hit you. But there are others that surveil you, realize that you've got a spiritual gifting, and then put a cloaking spell on you, right? In other words, what they do do is try to conceal their faces in the dream. So you will dream about it, but their faces will be hidden. Well, God Almighty has given me a gift to be able to unveil even people who have cloaked themselves, because whatever they shroud themselves with on the face, whatever constitution or personality that they rather plaster on their faces, is overwhelmed by all the other extenuating hints, all the other extenuating signs, all the other extenuating sort of kind of flags or features or characters in this environment. They when you look at the ecosystem, when you look around in the environment, in the dream, and when you look at the clothes they're wearing, when you look at their general constitution, right, you pick up the characteristics of the actual witch. So they might cloak themselves with the face of someone from the past, but they will be either wearing something or in an environment where you can be able to identify, spot that, no, this is not Pinky, it's mine. I will give you an example of a dream that I got recently, okay? There's this one girlfriend that I had back in the day. Let's say her name was Pinky, okay? And this chick was good people's. We were good people's for quite some time. If anything, years. We were good people for some years, right? We got tight initially when we met. She used to pass me shade, give me attitude. You know how black girls can be. But then we grew close despite that attitude, all right? We grew close, me and this girl and I, despite that attitude, because we shared a lot in common, you know, interests, career desires or trajectories, personalities. We even looked similar, right? She was thin and tall, just as I'm thin and tall. So I guess we just like, you know, hit it off or whatever. Anyway, yeah, no, that was what was up with this friend. However, she ended up being quite a prolific witch against my life. She came up against my career, competed like just a menace and what have you. This woman, this girl, however, this friend of mine, this former friend of mine, when I got saved, when I was interrogating the things of God, before even getting saved, I brought her into that bandwagon. The two of us, both of us, appeared to be interested in Jesus. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we both were talking about God. At some point we were talking about sex before marriage and how long we should wait. And she was like, maybe just a couple of months. And I was like, but the Bible says, like, what's this marriage? You have to wait until marriage, etc. Yeah, anyway, we appeared to be getting born again together. And lo and behold, I started attending Rhema. She started attending Grace. Right? So I was like, whoa, my friend is actually getting saved. I ended up moving to Grace because Rhema was fluffy, right? And she was there, and I expected her to be happy that, hey, I've joined her, because we lived in the same neighborhood, more or less. We lived in Redport. So we both had to travel quite the distance in order to get to Soweto. So for me, it was like, hey, girl, so you're not the only one that's not, like, settling for Rhema. Good. You know, let's, like, celebrate. But she started giving me attitude. She started passing me shade. This is now within a Christian space. So we both have finally gotten born again, apparently. And you should be therefore happy with me and for me. Yet you're passing me attitude. What's that about? Told me that she had joined the intercessory prayer ministry of helps at Grace. And for me, it was like, how in the world are you an intercessor when you have no empathy, no compassion? Why are you so cold? Why are you so aloof towards me? We've been friends for a minute. You're giving me the same attitude you used to give me when we first started. As people knowing each other. I met her through my cousin. That died off, that attitude, because you got to know me, and the two of us were, we got tight, even tighter than my cousin, you and my cousin were. Like, we literally gravitated towards each other, and now you're giving me really hectic shade when we should be closer, given that I'm in Christ now, and so are you. So we share now a spiritual bond. We're sisters in a much deeper sense, in a heavenly sense. So why are you passing me shade? I could not understand it until I started to get a flood of dreams about her, until I started to get a flood of nightmares about this girl. Then it all made sense to me. However, only a couple of years down the line, because I never really understood my spiritual gifting until much later. I keep saying that, I keep explaining that in my videos. The nightmares that I got about this friend of mine that did not cloak herself because she didn't know that I had a gift that sees, okay? So there was no need, basically, for her to cloak herself in this dream. Very well, the nightmares that I got, Guyana, this friend of mine, she was always gloating over me. right? One time my cousin and my whole family, basically, they were passing me shade, ignoring me when I spoke. Whenever I opened my mouth, they would just like not even heed me. Okay, and this chick was sitting among my family members on some, I guess nobody listens to you anymore now, and she appeared really proud. And then another dream I got, she was at work, right? And she had just gotten what I understood to be a promotion, and she looked at me on some, look at me grow and you go nowhere. And I was like, what in the world am I dreaming here? One dream, I got it, and she was like this giant above me, basically just this mammoth beast, like she was huge, and I appeared to be like a small little, dwarfish person, and I was looking at this like giant thing that she was, and again, in the dream, she was just oozing a lot of pomp, a lot of arrogance, and she had a I'm bigger than you constitution. Ultimately, the Lord showed me that she basically came against my career. What spell that this girl cast on me, spells, plethora of them, were to take over my life. She just wanted my whole life. My family, she wanted my rep, my street cred, my job, my career, everything I was doing, everything I was successful in, she wanted it, like the full 9, the whole 9. She wanted everything. And she went to a sangoma and basically affected that. That's what that friend did. She's just one among many such rando friends that did such a thing as this. Well, recently, I got a dream where that girl was again back in my life. And I'm like, no, there's no way that I would ever accommodate that rando. Like, I never would, right? When I woke up in the morning, I was very upset because I was like, oh, is she busy again? Is she busy? Is she busy? I said her name was Pinky, right? Is Pinky busy again with me? Busy or what? Like, has she raised from the coffin that she's been in all along? What are we doing? Is this vampire awake again? Like, was it like, do I need to bring out a cross and like some sun to like burn her or what? Who do I put, And the Lord, after 2 or 3 days of being confused about that dream, basically alerted me to the fact that, it is not Pinky. Ke motho a gale wa long ago wa fantuka o borang o kenyang o go loileng mara she's not still busy with you. I've shown you a dream where Pinky had a lot of guilt, right, with what you're doing, and also currently where she's sitting uncomfortable practicing, so she's not going to slap you with sorcery again. Think about who wears the same characteristics as Pinky right now that's in your life. And guys, I don't have people in my life. I don't have people in my life except for some random new human being that literally just came into my life like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't have anybody. So it was very easy to identify this. Not only that, okay, but other extenuating factors. In this dream, okay, Pinky, what is this? Pinky and I were at a mall establishment thing, like design quarters or whatever. We had just gone to like a watch store, right? And she was wearing this like gold watch, and it was really beautiful, really very glorious. Do you understand? And I was looking at her watch on some, wow, what a beautiful watch. Now, before we even get very far, in my dreams, in the very beginning of my walk and in the beginning of my understanding spiritually of my dreams, I had this dream when I was working at MTN, right, where I was in the boardroom, right, just basically chairing a meeting, type establishment thing, and one of my colleagues was like, whoa, in the dream, right? One of my colleagues was like, whoa! And then I looked at this chick saying whoa, and then I look at where it is that she was looking at when she was saying whoa, and I look down and I see on my wrist is like this beautiful, just gorgeous watch. Okay, it was like gold and there were diamonds on it and whatnot. It was just this beautiful. And I looked at it as well. I was like, whoa. And the dream ended. So my colleague was like, whoa. And then I looked at my wrist. I saw a watch and I was like, whoa. When I woke up from that dream, God said watchman. Okay, watchman. So I was like, oh, so you've called me to be like Ezekiel. Okay, cool. So where do we start? Type thing. Well, the rest is history. We are now where it is that I find myself. So God basically showed me what post or like, what do you call this? The job I have in the kingdom of heaven, basically a watchman or watchwoman type establishment thing. Very well. She was wearing the watch, that kind, a similar watch to the one that I was wearing. Do you understand? But it was not on my wrist, it was on hers. It was on her wrist and not mine. In my dreams, whenever God is showing me jealousy or cooing, taking over, people who want to take something from me, they're wearing what it is that belongs to me. There's this one colleague at MTN, this Indian girl that I used to work with, we used to be close, but then she ended up like slapping me with sorcery and also betraying me quite heavily. I don't know how many nights literally in a row I would dream about her wearing my clothes, like my dresses, my shoes, my scarves, my everything, like my outfits, my jackets, my coats. In my dreams, she would be wearing my outfits, while I would just be, I don't know, I guess I wouldn't see what I'm wearing, but I'd be looking at her on some, but why are you wearing my dress? That's jealousy. That is taking somebody's everything. That is a dream where God is showing you this person wants to take that particular thing from you. They want to overcome you. They want to overwhelm you. They want to take you. They want to take that thing from you. So I know how to interpret, because of historical dreams, that kind of thing. This chick was wearing my watch while I did not have it. And she kept on flailing it to, gesturing her hand around, showing it to me. Okay. So God was therefore showing me that this particular strategy of this witch is to take my ministry, to silence my ministry, to take what it is that is mine as a watchwoman. Yes, type establishment thing. So she was rocking the watch, not me. And she was wearing also, it must be noted, that in this dream, una pere black clothes like that which you would find, church outfits. You know, those nurse-like shoes? Like a pencil, not a pencil skirt, but those flowy, how can I describe her outfit? But in black culture, there's this like church uniform issue thing, but not really uniform. But these women that are not really of God, they're busybodies, they're gossips, they go to church just to fellowship with women in a very typical worldly sense, in that they just want to make friends, they are there to see what's going on, talk about everybody, but they don't actually have a relationship with God. So they are very they are Bible bashers. Yes, everybody in the community doesn't really like them because they're always talking about God and they're always looking down on everybody that's not God's servant, and they look at everybody like they stink. Like, look at me, I'm a virgin and you're not. I'm not. Look at me, I go to church and you're going to hell. Like, those kinds of women, in black culture, you know what I'm talking about. They don't have a grace, a godly grace. A piety, a true one. They are just obsessed with religion, but they don't really have a relationship with Jesus. So by Kenya and they make Christianity look really bad. Yeah, this chick was wearing an outfit like that. One of those sweet konyana OCs mara as baeg. She was rocking an outfit like that. Now, this friend of mine, right? She was a fashionista like me. She would rock, her very interesting, flamboyant, colorful, eccentric outfit tip to toe. You would never find her in an outfit like that. So that was one of the signs. That was one of the evidences. This chick, una pere outfit that was not characteristic of her in waking life. First of all, we were at this mall environment, right? Again, this woman is not currently in my life. She is not currently in my life. There was also another hint that whoever it is that is doing this witchcraft is not this friend of yours. Mara, unale a similar constitution to that friend of yours. I use that friend of yours who puts the pieces of the puzzle together because of a character. Mocho, that really frankly has attitude, never really has liked you, always competing, and you only find out one day when something happens. This friend of mine suddenly ghosted me. She suddenly started acting aloof towards me. Later on,